Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be all about how to go about doing inner work. I'm going to share a little bit about how I got started on my journey. So around mid 2022, I started kind of feeling very disconnected from the life that I was living at that time. I was living in Australia. I was working as a registered nurse. I was living a seemingly perfect life, but it was almost like if I go back, reflect on it now, what it felt like in that moment was I already knew that this wasn't the life that I would imagine myself living for the rest of my life, but there was something in me that did not have the courage, or I could not quite put a finger on what it exactly was. But something in me had now started to want to feel courageous enough to do something about it, to do something about the fact that this wasn't the life that I saw myself living for future. It's not like I hated my life, but it was just not deeply fulfilling at a soul level. Now that I have evolved enough, I've been on a spiritual journey for 3 4 years now almost, so now I have the terms to define what I went through, but at that point I didn't. So it felt very like it was just like a subtle depression almost, where I just couldn't explain things. But I like things started coming to my attention, as in how I was sabotaging myself. I felt really depressed, like did not want to participate in my daily life. There was nothing that was like mentally stimulating, and nothing excited me about that life anymore. And I had started noticing it, and I wanted to do something about it at that time. Ever since I was little, I had a strong connection with God. I was a religious person, but I did not know anything about spirituality at all. But I just had this inner knowing, this deep feeling that God, or I don't know how to even describe God, honestly, I really don't know, but just this inner feeling like that something, I don't know, I'm here for something. I don't know, I have always had this deep inner knowing with me ever since I was little. It was almost like that I was starting to connect to that inner knowing more and more. I started journaling out of nowhere. I had read about journaling, I had tried it before, but in a very disconnected way. But this time it almost felt like it was the only way I could express myself. The discomfort that I felt with all these feelings I was feeling, all these like physical sensations almost. I don't even, I still don't know if I have the right words to put everything into words, but I'm gonna try. So I started journaling. The more I wrote things down, the more clear I became on what was going on. I had realized at that point, this is not the life I want. It's not about having a particular life, it's about having a life that speaks to you, that speaks to your soul. That's how I understand it now. The person that I was being at that point did not speak to me. That's not who I was. That was very diminished, very small version of me. So as I was doing the journaling, I started getting more and more clarity on this. I always saw myself as a very deep person who like loves deeply, who expresses herself deeply. But somehow I was in a place where I realized I did not have a single person who connected with me at a deeper level, because I think at that point I had started learning how to connect with myself deeply. So you see the paradox here. They say you can only love other people as deeply as you love yourself. So that kind of started making sense. Like when I started knowing myself deeply, like I started understanding how I was sabotaging myself, how I was not showing up for myself, I was not being my true self. I was working a job I did not soulfully enjoy anymore. I was in some relationships or friendships uh, that did not value the core of me, that did not see me for who I am. I started making sense of all of these things, and I knew that I did not want this. This is not the life that I want. This experience brought me face to face with myself mainly. All of my toxic habits, all of my toxic behaviors towards myself. This is the bullshit that we've been fed, that as long as you are pleasing other people, as long as other people are approving of your behavior and they think you are a good person, and you're receiving that validation from other people, then you're doing good, you're going good in life. If you have a certain job or certain career, or success in some way, shape, or form that is recognized in society or by other people, then you're doing great, then you must be doing something right. Nobody teaches us how to get your own approval, the importance of our own selves. We don't even see ourselves at all. I also realized I had weak boundaries, or almost none at all. And this is where it all started for me. I was like, I'm going to learn to create healthy boundaries. Like, if people do not treat me nicely, or it's not like, I've dealt with like really majorly evil people in my life. It's just that sometimes our values don't align with people, and they're not bad people. It's just that sometimes you need healthier people around you who bring out the healthier version of yourself. You would want to stay away from gossip, drama, jealousy, toxicity, fights, all of that stuff. So that's something that you strive for. If you are attracting people who are bringing all of this in your life, you would want to have healthy boundaries. You would want to be able to tell them, if this doesn't stop, I'm going to have to cut you off. It has to be as simple as that. We are not operating from connection, we are operating from loneliness, we are operating from fear, we are operating from a place of seeking validation and approval, because we don't know otherwise. We don't know there's other options for us that we must choose if we are to become healthy people, if we are to keep and attract healthy people and situations into our lives. We just keep entertaining things without knowing that they did not even deserve our attention and energy in the first place. We call it love or respect, or whatever nice and fancy term you want to use for it. We cling to people in hopes that they can save us from our loneliness. Deep down, it's just a fear of being lonely. Why is that fear there in the first place? It's because you don't like yourself enough, you don't love yourself enough, and then you use other people to fill that void. This is why you have weak boundaries. This is why you cannot say no. This is why you people please, you fawn, you resort to trying to convince people into choosing you, into loving you, into not leaving you when they clearly are not aligned with your values. It's because you don't even know your values, you don't even know what you stand for, you don't know yourself at all. It's all about acknowledging that we are operating from faulty programs, from very negative thinking about our own selves in the first place. If you are carrying all those negative beliefs and traumas and patterns about yourself, the world is going to mirror everything right back into your face. For example, when someone likes you, you are mentally going to want to give yourself proof. You would consistently want them to prove, or you would want to test them, or you would want to know why they like you. But why do you need that justification? Like, if you liked yourself in the first place, if you thought that you were worthy enough of being loved, you wouldn't be worried about details. You would just know people love you because you are worthy of being loved. This is how our insecurities play out in very sneaky ways, which we don't even realize. Like, yeah, so when I started realizing some of these patterns in my own life, I had to understand where it all came from. And I feel like when you genuinely want to become a better person, when you genuinely want to heal yourself, you would see the whole universe, God, all the powers in the world would want you to heal. I believe in all the magic that exists in the universe. It literally does exist. From that phase onwards, every knowledge, every lesson, every mistake, everything that I needed to learn, it just presented itself to me. It was just right in front of my eyes, through a random video on the internet, through a random sign on the road, through some people that I was talking to or interacting with at the time. One way or another, everything that I needed came to me, whether it was a lesson, whether it was a painful experience. For me, from that point onwards, it was just growth. And that too on fast forward, because I was so open to receiving it. I was so open to receiving everything with open arms and open heart. Was it difficult? Was it hard? Was it painful? Like hell yes, extremely uncomfortable. But did I grow from it? Definitely. Am I growing still? Yes. This is the thing about inner work. So when you willingly want to become the best version of yourself. Every experience in your life will help you become exactly that. Really, when you start to become a healthy person, you're gonna offend some people or a lot of people. The thing about this is, when you know what's right for you, that may not necessarily be what other people want to, and that includes your family and close relationships. You have to become strong enough to be able to stand up for what's right for you without intentionally hurting other people. Eventually you have to make the difficult choice of letting other people down, as long as it's not you. As you work on yourself, your frequency rises, your consciousness evolves. You're naturally going to outgrow a lot of people around you. You're going to lose a lot of friends. You're going to lose a lot of, maybe you're going to lose maybe relationships and even family. I don't know, in some cases. It's just the fact that when you are unlocking a newer version of yourself, a healthier, more real, more authentic version of yourself, your energy and frequency is going to raise to higher levels. You start reading books, you're working out, you're picking up a new hobby, you're getting to know yourself more and more, you're spending more time with yourself, spending more time in nature. All of these things are going to really help you get started. As soon as you start making more and more efforts to grow as a person, universe sees those efforts, universe sees your heart. The more and more knowledge about personal development, about your behaviors, or I'll make another video on some of the specifics of this, but when we start learning and putting more healthy knowledge into our mind, our consciousness raises, our frequency raises. And that then starts attracting like minded people and better experiences, better behaviors from you, better attitude towards life, changed perspective. It's just like a whole new version of you is born. Like, you can make all the money in the world, you can become successful all you want, but working on yourself, doing the inner work, first of all, this is exactly what it takes to, I think, become successful in a way that will actually speak to your soul, that will actually make you fulfilled. Because, we know a lot of people who have a lot of money, but they're still very disconnected from themselves. So at the end of the day, it's what speaks to your soul. It's about your life purpose, which is very, very specific to you. Only you can put it out there in the world for the people that can only understand and hear it from you. Don't make your people wait. Start working on yourself, getting to know yourself. Who are you? Like, if somebody would have asked me this question, like, tell me about yourself, introduce yourself. Like, if someone would have asked me this question 3 years ago, I would have probably answered in very vague way. I would have maybe mentioned my name and this is what I do for work, and literally, because I wouldn't have any other vocabulary or any other way to explain who I am. And if someone was to ask me this question now, I would explain it very differently, as I think you would be able to tell. So I think that's a very beautiful difference that I noticed in my own self. I wasn't like this always, and I had no idea that this is someone who I could be. So if you're someone who connected to any of my personal experiences, or you have your own that feel a little bit different from our normal everyday lives, or you're curious to explore, please do it. Educate yourself on these topics, read self-help books, use YouTube, whatever works. I just really, really deeply feel it in my soul, like it is my purpose to just inspire everyone or anyone that I can. Because the amount of pain that I have experienced in my life, and how I overcame, and who I became on the other side of it, was unimaginable for me at one point in my life. And I really wish more of us could understand these experiences. If you had to ask me one simple thing about life, it is all about love and presence in the end. Yes, we are working on ourselves, we are doing everything to become better, we are improving our lives. But at the end of the day, what we're really learning is to coexist beautifully with other human beings. It's actually about taking all that healing and spreading love everywhere around you. treating your people with love and respect, honoring them, being there for them, being there for yourself, honoring yourself. But it's all about love. I hope this helps.